here, you'll notice that the arm action is actually working the humerus into what we call the scapular plane as it lays back. So as we get to the scapular plane where the humerus works, about 15 degrees in front of the torso, we'll notice that the shoulder blade has to keep coming with it so it upwardly rotates and helps center that socket. And then as he turns over, the shoulder needs to keep coming and keep protracting to avoid losing the humeral head on the backside of that joint. So that's a key component in looking at the throwing motion around 90 degrees here so that we can get a tight turn and get our torso and our shoulders to pull that humerus along with it without losing our positioning from being too long out the side. So as we turn here, we're getting that arm to get to that layback position, and we've still got a nice alignment of that humeral head into the socket. Now the only thing we can't see here is where that shoulder blade is, which we'll get to in a video later on, but that's a key component of making sure that we keep the ball and socket together. So as we work through this, we need to appreciate what that landing position was so we can understand the tensioning that's going to be at play as we work through this acceleration phase. Now if we look at the side shot, when we look at this bracing position, that will tell us a lot about when the tensioning is going to start to pick up and where that arm action needs to be. So if we look at this positioning, we'll say, this is probably somewhere in these clips. Now, when we look at the variables on the arm action, we'll talk about how flexed is the elbow to create a shorter lever. Is it more extended, creating a longer lever, which could make it more difficult to center that humeral head in a good position? How much external rotation do we see? Is the arm laying back already, or is it internally rotated and delaying that action? So some of the harder throwers may do that, but it creates more torque and more joint stress. It's just a matter of how do you handle that. Now we're also going to look at, as we work into this rotation, we've got our torso supporting us with a good neutral core position. Our shoulders are turning, and now that's pulling our humerus into that adducted and externally rotated position to get to that maximum layback. So from there, we'll talk about extension to release in a later video.
Because now let's watch him. His trunk is leading. His chest arrives before his arms. So here's the instruction. You stand him up sideways. By the way, this is pitching. You step out and you turn. You step out and you turn. It's if people would just get this. Now, notice you put him sideways and he's retracted, and he retracts more as he goes into external rotation. Now you're getting all the movements in the scapula, and he's doing both arms because this is a feel drill, and he's feeling